After my father caught my mother having an affair, he beat her until she was unrecognizable. I tried to pull him away, allowing my mother to escape this nightmare. Later, my mother and her lover poisoned my father out of fear of being exposed. They locked me in the house, broke my limbs, and sewed my mouth shut with needles. It wasn't until my death that I learned my brother had used my ID to borrow 100 million, living luxuriously while our family suffered. When I reopened my eyes, I was back on the day my mother was caught cheating. Seeing the familiar scene before me, a smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Hit her to death, Catherine. Ask your conscience, how have I treated you all these years? Since your birth, I've been strict with you to spare you hardship, letting you stay home worry-free while I covered all expenses. When you gave birth to Nathan, I treated you like royalty, yet you still cheated. How dare you? As my father spoke, he raised a rolling pin and struck my mother. Instinctively, I raised my hand, lifted my left and right feet, and realized my body was intact. My lips trembled without open wounds or stitches. It turned out I had reincarnated. My brother Nathan, pale-faced, grabbed my hand, his voice choked with tears. Sister, please beg father. If he hits again, mother will die. Hearing this, my mother threw a pleading glance at me. Her body bore a dozen wounds, large and small, her eyes red and swollen, her lips dripping blood. Nathan, listen to your child. I promise there'll be no next time. It's all because of that cursed man. He lured me and I was reckless. Though I died once facing their pleas, I felt stabbed repeatedly, each wound gouging my flesh. In my past life, I softened at my mother's endless begging, hiding the truth and letting her have another chance. But she returned home only to secretly plot with her lover to poison father's food while I was out, then cremated him quietly. Later, she brazenly remarried her lover, claiming raising 2 children alone was too hard and the house needed a man. One night, I overheard their conversation and learned father hadn't died of a heart attack. He'd been poisoned. I planned to pretend ignorance and seek revenge, but accidentally broke a decorative item, startling my mother. Fearing exposure, she and her lover tied me to a bed, broke my limbs, and sewed my lips shut with needles, rendering me voiceless and helpless. I pinned all hope on Nathan, never expecting him to exploit my ID to borrow money. Sister, do you know about professional debtors? I've checked, you have a clean record and can borrow over 10 million. Consider it a contribution to the family. He then coldly lifted my chin, his smile radiant. Forgot to say, you're not Nathan's child. You'll soon meet your dead father in the afterlife. Thinking of this, I broke into a cold sweat, my hand clenching into a fist. In my past life, father and I died miserably. In this life, I want them to pay in blood. If you can't live together, divorce. We're all grown now. I said it. All 3 present gaped in shock. They couldn't believe I'd spoken such words. My mother, hair disheveled, staggered up and pointed at me. Serena, are you even human? How can you say such things? Do you know how single-parent families affect children? Your brother is in 12th grade. This is a critical time. I see. You just don't want him to live well. I sneered, my eyes filled with hatred. Since my mother's pregnancy, I'd stayed home to better our lives while father worked tirelessly outside. For years, he feared no hardship, only that we'd suffer. As a child, I often resented him. Our family gatherings always lacked one person. But growing up, I realized father was the most exhausted. He kept only a few hundred yuan monthly for living expenses, giving the rest to mother. He wore a faded coat but bought us expensive sports shoes. He ate pussy with water while giving us meat, smiling, I'm full now. Thinking back, it's because of my sister and me that he'd suffered for so long. Nathan, seeing I didn't help, added fuel to the fire. He glared at me. Serena, what daughter advises divorce? Mother, hold her tighter. My mother embraced him, crying louder. Right. I've raised you for years, yet you turn your back on me. You're still my good son, Nathan. Forgive her this time. Years of marriage, can you really be heartless? No matter how filial she seemed, she was just a daughter. They'd still rely on Nathan later. If they really divorced, the children would be devastated. My mother knew father valued family, deliberately playing the victim, hoping he'd change his mind. Though father was rough, he never thought women were inferior. Countless nights I studied under lamplight, all because he messaged me encouragement. A daughter must step out, not be trapped in a small town. Having a child is to let them enjoy life, not live in someone's shadow. I walked heavily toward him, not knowing when his once straight back had stooped. I slowly sat beside him, leaning on his shoulder, my voice trembling. Father, you've suffered for years. Your daughter is grown, no need to worry anymore. Can you live the life you wanted to? Hearing this, he slowly raised his head. Our eyes met. I saw tears in his eyes. My mother signaled to Nathan, who immediately knelt before Father, grabbing his leg. Father, we know we're wrong. We truly don't want you and Mother to split. My mother stood anxiously, tears falling incessantly. I knew she didn't want to leave Father, not her ATM. Later, Father ignored her, moving his bedding from the bedroom to the living room. I was dragged into a room by the two of them and scolded. Serena, you heartless thing. Watching me get beaten happy, aren't you? She raised her hand to slap me, but I dodged. Dare to resist. Think divorce means the family's money is yours. Don't dream. It's for your brother. In my past life, my mother was one way in public, another behind the scenes. To relatives and friends, she treated my sister and me fairly. But secretly, her mind was all on Nathan. I not only cared for my younger brother, but also cleaned, washed, and cooked. She saved all the good things for Nathan. If I snuck a bite, I'd be punished to kneel in the kitchen all night without sleep. Even in 12th grade, people mistook me for a middle schooler. Only when Father was home did she reluctantly pretend. She threatened me multiple times. If I told Father, she beat me until flesh tore. Even now that I've worked, I'm still under her control, knowing Nathan isn't studious, yet she persistently found tutors for him. Seeing it ineffective, they planned for me to quit my job, unpaid, to help him pass key university exams. Thinking of this, I smiled faintly. Their dreams should wake up. Nathan smugly chimed in. A daughter is disposable, born to serve her brother. Later, you'll inflate your salary, demand a dowry, and beg your husband's family for money to support him. This is your fate. Seeing I stayed silent, my mother raised her hand again. This time I didn't dodge, but instead I shouted, Mother, we know we're wrong. Don't hit me. The two were stunned, not understanding what was happening. After a while, Father strode in, furrowing his brow to protect me. Catherine, who gave you the guts to touch my daughter? Nathan hurriedly defended her. Father, don't listen to Serena's nonsense. Mother loves her sister, how could she hit her? A cold laugh rose in my heart. Wasn't this just a play? Then I raised my hand, rolled up my sleeve, and my mother scolded. You're good for nothing. Born to give blood to your brother for a better life. Father, already angry, slapped my mother. Still spouting nonsense. Leave with your son. I watched his back disappear into the mist, tears blurring my eyes. Whether in my past or this life, he's still the father who loves me most. This time, let me protect him. That night, I tossed in bed, unable to sleep. Past sufferings flashed before my eyes. The torments of my past life. I wanted them to pay back everything, principal and interest. The next day, while my parents attended Nathan's parent-teacher meeting, I installed the pre-purchase camera to monitor their every move. I refused to tutor Nathan, lying about a business trip. Actually, I found a small inn, then rushed to the bank to report my card lost. I remembered. When I graduated and got a job, my mother, using maternal affection, forced me to hand over my salary card, saying it was for the family. Helpless, I worked days and delivered food nights just to maintain a normal life and meet her demands. My job shifted from clerk to sales, enduring repeatedly fueling her greed. She grew dissatisfied with a few thousand monthly, demanding 10,000. I don't know when, but over the years she'd saved hundreds of thousands for her son. A week passed peacefully. Father's attitude softened. I checked the camera and saw them chatting in the bedroom. Nathan held my mother's hand, pleading, Mom, all my friends have the latest iPhones. Use Serena's money to buy me one. My mother gently stroked his head, a look I'd never seen before. My son, that money isn't for spending. It's for your wedding. Luckily, Serena listens and doesn't tell Father. If he knew, we'd lose it all. He forgave you on the surface, but who knows when he'll turn. We must plan more. Nathan lay on the bed like a prince, my mother occasionally feeding him fruit. What's hard about this? Killing him. Everything in the house is ours. My mother hesitated. But Nathan continued. Mom, forget how he almost beat you to death? Mercy to him is cruelty to yourself. Tomorrow he's going out. Buy rat poison for the foster. Father, that way, even with a father, no one will suspect us. I suddenly sat up, calculating the timing. They really should act soon. What I didn't expect was that someone acted before me. I saw Father tiptoe out of the bedroom, glance at Nathan, then go straight to the kitchen. Expressionless, he took ribs, broke corn, and cooked a large soup. Then he took a packet from his pocket, unhesitatingly pouring it in. My eyes widened, my body trembling. After 10 seconds, I regained myself, a bold thought emerging. I must stop him, prevent his mistake. Thinking this, I hurriedly dressed and called him. His familiar voice answered, "What's up, daughter? Trouble is always here for you. No one will bully you. If you lack money, don't bear it alone, I'll transfer some." His voice grew quieter. I sensed he was choking back tears. Tears streaming down my cheeks, I trembled. "Father, I just miss you. I'll be home in a few minutes. Can you wait for me?" He paused as if making a huge decision. Okay. I'll wait." Ending the call, I immediately checked the camera. Father stood still for a long time, then slowly ladled out the ingredients and threw them in the trash, refilling the pot with water. Seeing this, I clutched my chest, crouching and weeping. I thought, Father must have also reincarnated, knowing what I'd endured. That's why he said no one would bully me again. I truly couldn't imagine how much pain he felt, seeing my past suffering. Meeting Father, I threw myself into his arms. He patted my back, whispered in my ear, "Here, my girl has grown. Knows how to help Father share burdens." Later, my mother led Nathan out. Seeing me, a flash of hatred crossed her eyes. Then she feigned warmth, chatting a few sentences before getting to the point. "Sister, your brother's grades are slipping. As the older sister, you must manage him. Lost your job? Find another. His college entrance exam is crucial. Our family's future depends on it." I laughed aloud at this joke. My brother's grades are already bottom tier, where else can they drop? I think he should give up early. Better to find a vocational school. Nathan, angered by my words, lunged to hit me. His hand froze midair, caught by Father. "Nathan, I've spoiled you. Daring to hit your sister." He kicked Nathan in the stomach. "A son like you isn't needed." My mother, terrified, crawled to Nathan. "Thomas, are you mad? He's the only son of the Nathan family. If anything happens to him, I'll fight you." I wanted to see if Serena could support him in old age. The next day, Father and I woke early, dragging Nathan to the provincial city for a DNA test. Though we knew the result to defeat them, we needed proof. In the hallway, I checked the home situation. Just as I guessed, my mother brought her lover home. The three were plotting how to kill Father and me. Father ignored the images, holding me close. A man not good at expressing himself, he cried aloud. Only then did I realize that in my past life. After his tragic death, his soul lingered, witnessing my harm but unable to protect me. Reincarnated, he had gone mad, wanting to kill. Had I not stopped him in time, he would have killed my mother and Nathan first, then recklessly faced her lover. I held Father's hand tightly, our gazes resolute. He's dying because of them, not Father. A few days later, we received the DNA results. I glanced at Father, his face was calm, betraying no emotion. First, I took him shopping at the mall, changing him from head to toe. Then we ate abalone and seafood. He was like a child, asking about everything, fearing to bother me. Midway, I received a call from my mother, screaming, "Serena, you dared to secretly report my bank card lost. Return that money. It's for your brother." Seeing Father eating well, I excused myself to the restroom. My mother clarified, "That's my child's money. I won't give Nathan a cent." She rambled on, then softened. "My daughter, I only have you and Nathan. When you marry, should the husband's family benefit? Let me keep this money safe, you spend it wastefully. Listen to Mother." Before she finished, Nathan crazily grabbed the phone. "You bring that money back now or I'll expose you online. Say Thomas is a dog, abandoning wife and child, not even needing his son. See how you two have any face left. The power of online public opinion is huge, need I say more? By then, everyone's spit will drown you too." I hung up, blocking their numbers to avoid affecting my mood. In the following days, I traveled with Father. Had it not been for a cousin's message, I wouldn't have known. My mother and Nathan had become internet sensations. Videos accusing me and Father were spreading everywhere. Scrolling casually, I saw her crying, detailing my marriage to Thomas for decades, him working away all year, me managing the household alone. Now he has another woman, secretly selling our house while we're out, leaving us homeless. My unfilial daughter Serena took all my savings, how are we to live? Many netizens believed her one-sided story, commenting, "Don't cry, they won't have a good end. We found their company and lodging will make them wish they were dead. Don't fear. Use the law to protect your rights and reclaim what's yours." My mother, likely guided by someone, began live streaming. She claimed to have raised Nathan since he was one, detailing My fever at age 1, her tireless care. He's my flesh and blood. If he repays me, I won't pursue responsibility. Only heartless children exist, not heartless parents. Seeing this, my thoughts drifted back. She had never cared for me, only for Nathan. When I was 9 and Nathan 1, we both had the flu. She claimed she couldn't care for 2 children and left me home for 10 days. My small body huddled in a blanket, hungry, biting pussy, drinking cold water, relying on the only box of fever medicine to survive. Had father not returned in time, I would have died. Then father, furious, gripped Catherine's hand. Learn to frame people? Luckily, I sold the house, otherwise it would all be theirs. I comforted him while staring at the live stream. The donation count rising. Smiling after observing them for days, I noticed significant changes in my mother and Nathan. Though the live stream background was still a dilapidated house, their clothes had shifted from knockoffs to designer brands. Looking newly rich. Just the gold bracelet on my mother's hand cost tens of thousands. Later, I learned from Nathan's teacher. She had withdrawn him from school long ago, focusing solely on live streaming. I saw my chance. First, using a top account, I announced a live stream, waiting for a large audience before starting. In the video, father and I live streamed without filters. We looked haggard, our sunken eyes contrasting with my mother and Nathan's rosy glow. We seemed more like victims. Before we spoke, the screen was flooded with insults. How dare you show your face? See how your mother and brother are oppressed. Truly bad parents. Raise bad children? Pay up. Pay up. If I were your mother, I'd hate to shove you back in my womb. Ignoring these, I coughed a few times, then spoke. I'm sorry to meet everyone this way, but the truth isn't as you see. Please stay calm and watch these videos first. Video 1. My mother and her lover in a joyful affair, blurred but recognizable. Video 2. My mother and Nathan plotting in the bedroom, urging their foster father to buy rat poison to kill my father. Video 3. All 3 gathered in our house, even I wasn't spared. After the videos aired, the live stream sentiment shifted rapidly. Many pointed fingers at them. What's this? So he was used as a pawn? I've been following since the start. This melon never ends. Wait, wasn't Catherine the one who cheated first? Is Nathan the lover's child? They wanted to kill Thomas and his daughter to seize assets. Meanwhile, some netizens doubted the videos, claiming they could be spliced or insufficient as evidence. I immediately presented the DNA report. Asterisk, here's the certified result. If forged, I'll bear all consequences. I remind everyone, don't be exploited by evildoers. Asterisk. My mother never loved me, disbelieve me? Watch further. I raised both hands, revealing the scars from her beatings, each one a testament. Asterisk, she always favored my brother, believing daughters serve sons. Thus, she withheld my salary, indifferent to my life or death, forcing me to support Nathan's expenses. That so-called bank card was my salary card, with money transferred on time each month. And me? To survive, I worked twice as hard as others, otherwise I'd starve. Meanwhile, father was the real victim. Please stop hurting him. Asterisk. After my words, netizens' sentiment shifted from anger to empathy. What mindset is this? The House of Commons collapsed years ago. Why still value men over women? Catherine deserves death. Fools with excessive sympathy enable them. Didn't you see her wearing a 1,000 yuan t-shirt? I'm a classmate of Nathan's. Days ago, he drove a brand new car worth hundreds of thousands, then withdrew from school saying he wants to be famous. I took the opportunity, pretending magnanimity, and said, Asterisk, father will soon divorce Catherine, hoping Nathan's path to fame broadens. From now on, they're unrelated to the Nathan family. Asterisk. Girl, stay strong. Years of betrayal will be repaid. Right. Life must go on. Don't let these 2 scums ruin your life. Take good care of father, he's the most important. Seeing the online count exceed 200,000, many kind netizens donated. I promised to donate all received funds and in future live streams. I disabled donations. I wanted to live by my own hands, not by others' pity. After ending the live stream, my father, heartbroken, looked at me, struggling to say, My child, you've suffered enough. I smiled, shook my head. Asterisk, father, heaven gave us a chance to reincarnate, to start anew. Don't dwell in pain. The netizens then attacked my mother and Nathan. Their live stream room was reported repeatedly forced to shut down. By evening, a topic exploded like lightning to the top. Catherine and Nathan, pay the price. Initially, they pretended to be dead, refusing to acknowledge anything. But they found they couldn't withdraw donations. The money was returned the same way, not a cent taken. Exposed, they became like rats crossing the street, everyone attacked. Several times, passers-by caught them, throwing rotten eggs and rice water, posting online, drawing endless curses. They deserved it. Such people shouldn't live. Eventually they'd face karma, right? Uncle Nathan was so kind, raising someone else's child for over a decade only to be harmed. I feel disgusted for Serena having such a mother. Who wouldn't wish their own daughter well? A month later, my father received another call from my mother sobbing. Asterisk, I know I'm wrong, please forgive me. Serena is also your daughter, we're one family. Can't we live well together? Asterisk. My father sneered, his voice rising. Asterisk, Catherine, do you even know shame? I've been merciful enough. Stop bothering my life. If you persist, I'll report you to the police. Asterisk. My mother, unwilling, called me from another number repeating the same story. Asterisk, the cursed man owed over $1 million. Debt collectors are threatening to remove Nathan's kidney if unpaid. My brother's only 18, so young. He's the youngest son. I absolutely can't watch him die. Asterisk. A smile curled at my lips, recalling how they killed me before. Asterisk, I never thought of this. No money? Easy. Now platforms lend money 10 or hundreds of thousands. Asterisk. After saying this, I hung up. Ting. I can only help so much. A year passed. My cousin messaged me. Nathan bought a big house in the city and invited me to visit. Initially, father worried for my safety, adamantly refusing. But after my persistent begging, I went with my cousin and others to his place. Nathan leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, scrutinizing me with clear contempt. Asterisk, Serena, you live a pathetic life, don't you? Not even a decent house, right? Maybe if you beg me, I'll generously let you stay a few days. Asterisk. My cousin winked at me, immediately changing the subject. Asterisk, where's your mother? Why isn't she here? Asterisk. Hearing this, I sensed his body stiffen slightly, his face a bit unnatural, then quickly normal again. Asterisk, my mom said she traveled too hard with father. Now she's touring Yunnan, promising to bring fruits for everyone when she returns. Asterisk. Just then, a crash came from the storage room. I narrowed my eyes, looking that way, understanding Nathan was lying. My cousin startled, instinctively stepping back. Asterisk, what was that? Is someone else hidden in the house? Asterisk. Nathan coughed a few times, then explained. Asterisk, I have a big dog, usually kept unleashed. Today, with many guests, I locked it up to avoid startling everyone. Once you all leave, I'll discipline it. It'll be well behaved. Asterisk. Hearing this, everyone relaxed, with someone suggesting, a dog? Let's see it. Seeing their intent to open the storage room, Nathan rushed forward, loudly stopping them. Asterisk, don't touch the dog. It hasn't been vaccinated. If injured, the consequences are severe. Asterisk. I couldn't help but marvel, the thing inside wasn't a dog. It was clearly Catherine. Remembering last year when my mother called about the $1 million debt. Now not only paid, but with 2 missing people. It was enough to prove Nathan had joined her. She'd schemed for her son his whole life, only to end like this. But I felt no pity. After leaving his house, I immediately unblocked my mother's number. Calling repeatedly but unable to reach her. As her daughter, I had the right to trace her. So I chose to report to the police. Luckily, I'd obtained the lock code beforehand. Hearing a click, the storage room door opened, revealing a horrifying scene. My mother, bloodied, lay on the ground, limbs broken, her mouth riddled with wounds. Anyone would shudder. Nathan, like a demon from hell, swung an axe, each blow chopping into her body. The sight mirrored my past life. My sufferings were now hers. The police saw this, swiftly arresting him. As he was led away, Nathan maliciously passed by me, his voice low and taunting. Asterisk, Serena, I clearly spared you. Why ruin my good thing? From start to finish, the one dying is you. Asterisk. In an instant, coldness seeped from my soul to my scalp. I suddenly realized Nathan also carried memories from the past life. But this time he didn't get a chance to act, shifting his target to my mother instead. Months later, Nathan was sentenced to death for intentional murder. A new beginning. During the meal, I presented the Red Book, carefully handing it to Aunt Linda. With a sweet smile, I wished them a happy marriage. She opened it, seeing her name, and wept. Asterisk, good girl. Even without this, I treat him well. Asterisk. I knew she meant it. She just didn't understand that whoever treats father well, I'll treat well in return. Later, I was promoted from business department head to director. I met my current husband and had a beautiful daughter. I often tell her, asterisk, you're here to enjoy life. Mom will protect you with all her might.